Arnab Goswami on the debate at 9. Presented by Amity University. Powered by RP Sanjeev Goenka Group, Century Ply and B1.
Is this a war? Is this truly a war or is it a league game? It's looking more and more like a league game. Paid mercenaries paid thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars to kill. Paid mercenaries who have no loyalty but to money. They can fight either for Russia or Ukraine, doesn't matter. Depending on who pays them the most. They are the ones leading the fight now. They are the ones entering the fight. They are fighting each other. Who says this is about ideology? There is no ideology. There is no nationalism for them. There is no issue of right or wrong to fight for. This is about who pays them the most. And the money is flowing, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, the Ukrainian army is fighting, but increasingly, this fight is being led by hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of paid fighters who are coming in. They are paid thousands of dollars every day to kill at will. On both sides, Chechens and Syrians being paid and bought by the Russians, go kill the Ukrainians. And all nationalities of the world on the Ukrainian side, go kill the Russians. On our behalf, kill each other. These are not people who believe they are fighting to defend Ukraine or defeat Ukraine. Let's not be fooled. And even the Ukrainians need to come to terms a little bit about what's going on. Fighting for them are professional fighters, professional killers, armed to the teeth with rocket launchers, the most sophisticated guns, handheld missiles, and heavy equipment. And you will ask, how much money are they getting? Well, the West is paying tons of money, paying them heavily. So, Mr. Zelensky, let's not romanticize this war beyond a point. This is now a war league. Like people pay players to, in sports to play for any team, regardless where they are from, these players have no loyalty either. These players play for the highest bidder, whoever pays them the most. Similarly, the West is now paying to kill. In rupee terms, they are paying between 15,000 rupees to 25,000 rupees a day to fight and kill in Ukraine. So it's a big money-making operation. If you're a professional killer, just call up the Ukrainian army. Land up in Ukraine, go on the other side, kill, you'll get 25,000 rupees a day. The West can romanticize Zelensky, and Putin can go on and on and on and on and on about Russian history. But both sides are letting foreigners of all nationalities come and kill for free in Ukraine. Tell me, viewers, how does that sound? That is not just senseless, it is unethical, it is morally pathetic. This is like 14th century Europe, 13th century Europe, 10th century Europe, where hordes of crazy men, crazy killers, were hired by kings and their underlings for a promise of loot and gold. This is, in 2022, getting as crazy as that. I do not know why the global media does not expose both sides for what they are doing. This is not a war, ladies and gentlemen. This is a league of war. It's the sport of war, where killing is an absolute sport, where there's a promise of a return. The West knows that the more it pays foreign killers, the more people they kill, the more the devastation on both sides, the greater the economic rewards of the war will be, the more their stock prices of defense companies will go up on Wall Street. This is not war. It's a war league, and a war league of mercenaries. And both sides should be ashamed of themselves. Putin should be ashamed, Zelensky should be ashamed, Biden should be ashamed, really ashamed for being part of this, ladies and gentlemen. This is the reality no other channel tells you, but that's a fact. Mercenaries are pouring in. They are getting thousands of dollars every single day just to come and kill at will. Kill at will, we'll pay you for it. There's a war league which has been created. This is not a war between Russia and Ukraine. It's an all-out professional war, ladies and gentlemen. Debate number one. And debate number two this evening. Russian shelling continues as sanctions are ramped up. But how far can Putin really afford to go? He's putting on a poker face, but how far can he go? How much can he threaten? How much will he execute? That's debate number two, and here are the headlines. Here are the headlines this Tuesday evening on the Debate Tonight. The West and NATO consolidate and rush more troops towards Ukraine. The war league is getting bigger and bloodier. This is a professional war now. Foreign weapons, foreign fighters, foreign mercenaries, foreign private armies. This is not between Russia and Ukraine. It's a professional war now. Meanwhile, Zelensky continues to question the West and NATO as they simply watch the Russian advancement. All Indian students stranded in Sumy evacuated as the government goes all out to bring back each student. Russia readies one big move on Ukraine. How far will Putin go? That's the global debate tonight.
A 500-kilogram bomb was dropped by the Russians around 2:30 in the morning.
And 14 cities bombed are covered in 14 days as Republic TV goes where no channel is going or can go. Ukraine's military is largely unable to contain the Russian advance except for in pockets. Tonight I bring you pictures, testimonials, and proof that what is happening in Ukraine is a professional mercenary war. It's based on mercenaries. It's a war where thousands of mercenaries are being used, when each mercenary is being paid thousands of dollars every day. This is a professional war, ladies and gentlemen. What no strategic affairs expert will tell you, but what is the reality on the ground. This is a war where both sides have no loyalties but to money. Private armies are being called. It's a war where many people are making lots of money. $2,000 a day upwards is the going rate to kill at will. These are details from the war zone, and then we shall debate.
Ось вечірній Київ. Наш офіс. Понеділок, вечір. Ви знаєте, ми звикли говорити понеділок день важкий.
РПГ, заряжай! Заряжай второй, матерый!
The Russians have been bombing Ukrainian cities in the first few days of the invasion with precision strike. Military bases have been targeted. But over the last few days, what we are witnessing unfolding before our eyes are civilian areas are now being targeted. Republic has now reached yet another location in Korostin, which was bombed about 2 days ago. And take a look at this. But this very area that we are reporting from, this area has come under target of the Russians simply because of two reasons. One, this basically comes under their northern axis. From Coruscant to Overwatch, as I travelled from one place to the other, there is one story that certainly emerges, that the Ukrainian army certainly needs help. Children are being orphaned, women are being targeted, and as we go from one place to the other, this is the kind of destruction, large-scale destruction, that one would witness. In the very place where we are standing right now, 7 bombs were dropped. 500 kilograms of bombs have been dropped in areas where people are still staying. When we spoke to them, asking why is it that they were not leaving these places, there are many people who are saying that they are not in any position to leave their homes and go to safer areas.
Yeah, we found some children here. Pretty sad situation. They don't know what's going to happen next. But we're hoping the best for them. But now they're here in Donetsk, People's Republic of Russian-controlled territory, so hopefully they'll be taken care of.
There's another big story that is now emerging, with foreign fighters and mercenaries entering Ukraine and trying to help the Ukrainian army. Just when the invasion began, you've had the Foreign Ministry of Ukraine declaring that those who are interested in helping Ukraine, they are free to join them. And that's the reason why they created what is now known as an international legion that is going to join the Ukrainian army.
I'm from England, and basically we're here to help stop the invasion of Ukraine. Hopefully, you know, we'll win. And the motivation is obviously the war crimes that are being committed shouldn't be committed, you know. It's bombing civilian targets, executing civilians, raping females. It shouldn't happen, and it needs to be stopped.
The arms of the Ukrainian army have certainly been strengthened by the people of Ukraine. You've seen the veterans joining in, youngsters who are now taking training in various territorial defense units, and images that have come into our newsroom only go on to indicate that not just the people of Ukraine, but now there are foreigners who are joining in. You have Ukrainians coming in from places like Sweden, Lithuania, Estonia. They're all coming in and joining what is now being called the International Legion.
Yes.
Even Russia has now called in special trained fighters from Chechnya and Syria.
Как вы видите, мы находимся в центре Грозного. Единственное место, куда мы поедем, если есть необходимость, это Украина.
On the 13th day of the invasion, what we are witnessing are American choppers being brought in to Poland, private armies being called by Russia, foreign fighters and mercenaries entering Ukraine. Our private armies now being involved in this war.
You know, this is such madness, and the very, very disgusting part of all this is that all this is being glamorized and romanticized by the Western media, who is saying, you know, we are fighting for the free world, we are fighting for democracy, and all kinds of big things are being said out there. But the reality is that this is just about big money. I mean, there are people, viewers, I'll tell you, the present going rate to kill at will in Ukraine is $2,000 to $3,000 a day. To give you a sense of that, viewers, it is between 15,000 rupees to 25,000 rupees. You can pick up a gun, you can pick up a weapon of your choice or weapons of your choice. You can just go to Ukraine, you can kill, and the West will pay you. I don't know the going rate for the Russians, but they've taken Chechens and Syrians. I'm told they have a similar rate. I don't know if the Wagner group, which is another mercenary force of the Russians, has got involved. But basically, viewers, this is a mercenary versus mercenary fight. It is like a blood sport. It is a gladiatorial punch-up. There are no loyalties here. There is no national interest here. These killers will kill for whoever pays them the most. And I think it's utterly irresponsible on both sides, especially the West, which lectures so much to the world, to just pump in mercenaries after mercenaries. Ukraine will become worse than Afghanistan. And you know what happened in Afghanistan when the mercenaries came in on the hordes. They killed, they got killed, they made money, they plundered, they raped, they looted. These people have no ethics. They don't care about children or women. And the most horrible part is, unacceptable part is that the Western media is turning a blind eye while these plunderers, professional looters and mercenaries are being let loose all across Ukraine. I don't know how this is about Ukraine and Russia anymore. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's not, viewers. This is the war league. This is the defense contractor game. This is the money-making game. This is not NATO versus... NATO is not even an issue. Today, Zelensky said, I don't care about NATO anymore. Strategic issues are passé. This is about killing at will. This is about the war industry. With us on the debate tonight is Peter Zalmayev of the Eurasia Democracy Initiative, Andrei Avramenko, who's a public relations and communication specialist from Lviv, Joachim Bitterlich, former German ambassador to NATO. We have Sushant Sareen, Senior Fellow of the ORF in Delhi, Anya Parampil, journalist at the Grey Zone, and Soraya Fas, former US presidential candidate and journalist. I'm beginning tonight with Tatiana Kokareva, who's the deputy chief of Sputnik websites, to take on Colonel Rich Outzen, a former senior advisor at the State Department and now with the Jamestown Foundation. You know, Colonel Outzen, this is... You know how much this costs? I made a calculation. They say 16,000 mercenaries are being sent to fight the Russians, to kill the Russians. 16,000 foreign fighters. Now we have open source and other information coming to us that each of them is paid anywhere between 2,000 to 2,500, sometimes, depending on your years of killing experience, $3,000 a day. Right? So that means, on an average, if I say 16,000 fighters, that means this killing machine, this private army that you're putting in, which is not about Ukraine or anything, they're killers. And they are being paid at the rate of anywhere between $32 million a day to $50 million a day. 50 million, right? That's only the cost of the money that you're paying them. This is like, you know, the medieval times all over again. It's horrible. And you're saying you're doing it for the free world. Who funds them? Who funds them?
Yeah, well...
Who's funding? Ukrainians are funding them. Are the Ukrainians? Ukrainians don't have the money to fund. You're funding them.
Yeah.
Right? There's a defense contractor business at work. Yes, well, Colonel Rich.
I sure hope we're funding them. Look, this may come as a great surprise, but in war, people are killers. That's what they do in war. And in war, you need a couple different things in addition to soldiers and equipment. You need money and you need fuel. So the fact that money is changing hands is like saying fuel is flowing. Of course it is. This is a war. Now, I don't think, if the numbers are correct that you've given of 16 or 18,000, that makes this a mercenary war. We have 88,000 Ukrainians who have come back from overseas to fight the Russian invasion. We have 200,000 Russian invaders, many of whom are not ethnic Russians, but are these poor Buryats and in some cases the Chechens and whatnot. It's multinational on both sides. But in essence, this is a war of defense by the Ukrainian people. And of course, there is money that's...
Thank you for your admission. No. Colonel Outzen, thank you for your admission. Thank you for your admission. And I'll tell you this. If it goes on this way, I just want to tell the people of Ukraine, you're going to have many more foreign paid killers on your soil than Ukrainian soldiers at all. And they are taking control. They will decide where this war goes. This war has gone out of your hands, people of Ukraine. Please understand it. There is a limit to which, no, it's gone out of your hands. And who are these mercenaries? What are their ethics? You take a guarantee they don't rape, kill or plunder? What guarantee do you take for them? I want Tatiana to come into the debate. This is horrible. Who's providing them the weapons? You see the pictures, viewers, I'll just show you the picture. All these people, they're blackened faces. They paint their faces black, right? They have this strange gear and there are some people who come from all over the place, and you know, some of them could be paid up to $5,000 a day to kill. They have no ethics, no loyalty. This is not Ukraine versus Russia anymore. Tatiana.
Good evening, Arnab. Well, it's never been Ukraine versus Russia. It's always been, the US has always been in the mix since 2014, as we've already discussed, you know, starting with Victoria Nuland and her cookies, which we all remember, and continuing on to, I don't believe you remember, Colonel, you know, the Senator John McCain and Lindsey Graham coming to Ukraine and saying that they're going to, that it was in 2016, I think, you know, saying that, look, 2017 is going to be the year of offensive. We're going to support you all the way. The mercenaries coming into Ukraine, you know, Arnab, I have to agree with my American counterpart in the place where I'm not quite sure about the numbers. But I would have to start educating him on, you know, ethnicities, because Russia is not one ethnicity as a country. It's a huge country. I believe you know that, you know, in the US, there's more than one ethnicity, and so is Russia. You know, the Chechen fighters you're talking about, the ones fighting from on the Moscow side, they're very much Russian citizens. And they very much make part of our regular army.
So you're also using mercenaries. Viewers, please note this, viewers.
Arnab,
both sides are fighting this with paid. These people.
This is the regular.
Did you fly in mercenaries from Libya in January?
No. These news come from.
Have you involved the Wagner group?
But why do we need them?
No, have you? No, I'm asking you. I'm asking you. I want Peter to come in. See, I'll ask both sides, because I want the people of the world to know that both sides are giving you big, long, moral lectures. They are hiding the fact, and I have been saying this, viewers. Please listen to me tonight. People in America, someone should educate you. This is about money. People in Russia should know this is about money. People in Ukraine should know you are not in control anymore. I can scream my lungs out if Andrew were to believe, if I were to tell him, and not take it as an affront when I tell you, you are not in control. The Ukrainians are not in control. They should be realistic now. Unless you want your country to look like a scene from Afghanistan. Ukraine has become a land for the West and the Russia to indulge, to pamper themselves. Ukraine will be taken over by foreign mercenaries from all sides. Only the people of Ukraine will suffer. And I can tell you, Andrew, these mercenaries have no values, no ethics, nothing. You should be very worried for your country when tens of thousands of these people are allowed to kill at will. Yes, you want to say something, Peter? You want to say Peter wants to come in. I think Soraya wants to come in. Anya wants to come in. Yes, Peter.
Yes,
Peter.
Yes, gentlemen. Sir, I don't know where you got this information, but let's try to clear up some misconceptions. I don't know where you got this information that people are being paid $2,000 to $3,000. It's not been reported anywhere. You're probably like a unique organization, as far as media goes, that has reported on that. We are hearing of thousands of
I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. It is being reported. It's being reported everywhere. Maybe you've not seen it, or maybe you don't want to listen to it. Do you think these people are coming to fight for free? Do you think they're coming because they love Ukraine?
Arnab,
these are mercenaries.
I receive daily calls from people who have seen what's happening in Ukraine, who have seen that it's an unfair, unprovoked invasion by a large neighbor. People are naturally drawn to conflicts on the side of the underdog. Ukraine is clearly fighting for its own survival here. So people will naturally want to come and spend their own money to come. I get calls from California. I had a guy call me from Tanzania, Africa. People from people from all over the world.
Now. You don't believe that.
How do I?
You don't believe that at all.
I want to help you people. Can you hear me?
No, you don't believe that. Please, I'm not going to quarrel with you. I'll bring Anya into the debate. I think we need to look at the truth. I just want to say,
information campaign by the Russians who are trying to portray this as
no, sir. You can call it a disinformation campaign. You can call it a disinformation campaign. I call it the truth. I call it the truth, sir. I call it the truth, sir. I don't close my eyes. I know how the Russians have used the Wagner group. I know that there have been reports that the secretive military aircraft from Libya with hardened mercenaries of the Wagner group flew in. You asked Tatiana today, that is the Wagner group operating for free. What are the financial transactions with the Wagner group? Is there a private military contractor which is linked to Putin's ally, Yevgeny Piroskin, called the Wagner group? Does it exist or not? Am I making it up? If I ask that question, Tatiana will shout. If I ask you the question, you'll be upset. Is the reality this is a war league? This is no longer Ukraine-Russia. And the sooner we realize it, you know, the well-intentioned people of the world are being misled in the name of freeing the world. I'd like Anya to come in. Anya, please take it forward, please. Nobody wants to listen to the reality tonight.
I think the focus on the question of foreign mercenaries obscures what we do know. I'm sure there are individuals without citizenship in Ukraine or Russia that are joining this fight. And I have to say, the guest in Kiev might be correct, because there's been such an effort to propagandize people in the United States and in the NATO-aligned countries in Europe to encourage the population to go fight. And to be fair, the Ukrainian government did put out an official call asking for foreign fighters to come. But really what we need to be concerned about here is what the first guest on this panel said, someone based in the United States, saying that they're hoping we support the Ukrainian military. This is coming as the Biden administration is making a horrifying decision to perhaps send fighter jets to Ukraine through Poland. These all have the impact of essentially bringing the United States directly into conflict with Russia, something that I think most of the U.S. public would oppose. And it's all based on obscuring the fact that this war has been going on since 2014. The U.S. began it when it installed a coup government. As one of the earlier guests mentioned, you had U.S. officials going there. Senator Lindsey Graham from the United States telling Ukrainian fighters that their fight is our fight in the United States, when that's ridiculous and not true. And anyone who now is calling for more support to the Ukrainian military, as the first guest did, who I believe you said is with the Jamestown Institute, an actual institute that was founded by an ex-director of the CIA to encourage these types of very hawkish positions in Washington that have really, as you said, been a boon for the military-industrial complex, but also placed the lives of Ukrainians in danger. Russians are going to suffer as a result of this war, but no one is going to suffer as much as the Ukrainian people. And the United States has showed that it is willing to turn Ukraine into a Syria-style situation, backing an extremist insurgency, groups aligned with Nazis in Ukraine in order to achieve their objective. I still think this is about NATO. This is about Russia not wanting NATO on its doorstep. And regardless of the question of foreign fighters, those are the facts that we have to keep in mind. Anyone who is calling for more support to the Ukrainian military at this moment is wishing for the Ukrainian people to be turned into cannon fodder for an endless war. Anyone who is serious about bettering the conditions of the Ukrainian people should call for a neutral Ukraine. That's all that would need to come in order to end this war. And the fact that so many in Washington are refusing to accept that shows that they are. Putin entered this war asking for a neutral Ukraine, saying that the militarization of Ukraine and the Nazification of Ukraine was unacceptable.
Sheer fantasy.
Absolutely, without a doubt. And viewers, I just, you know, what worries me a lot is this silent encouragement of what's going on. Soraya Fars is on the debate, and Andrei Avramenko is also there. Joachim Bitterlich is there. Andrei, Soraya, Joachim, you know, we got some really sad visuals today of children hiding from gunfire in camps in Donetsk. Our reporter was in Donetsk. And on the one side, I think about it. I think what is the world being let into? On the one side, we have children who are suffering like this. And on the other side, there are 20,000, 30,000, 40,000 mercenaries being paid $2,000 to $3,000 a day. That would cost anywhere between 32, maybe 50, 60, 70 million dollars a day to simply kill at will and go on a rampage in Ukraine. Andriy, don't get taken.
You're trying to
don't
vanish
be
the
misled
Ukrainian
by the
people.
West anymore. Your country has become a playground. No, your country has become a playground. And maybe the government of Ukraine is getting a lot of money now, but eventually your country will become a playground for these foreign mercenaries on both sides. Andriy, please, let's see sense. Mercenaries from 52 countries coming to your country is not a good thing. Who is incentivizing them? Are you paying them? America paying them? Ukraine paying them, or NATO paying them?
No. Let me give you my perspective, because I think that this concentration and emphasis on these mercenaries is a bit of victim blaming narrative, because we are speaking about full-scale invasion against a sovereign state, and then it's like there is an aggressor and a victim, and we are just concentrating on these mercenaries. I would like to draw your attention to the first days of the war, when we got no military support from the West. So the West refrained, and nobody knew how the situation would go on. And only when I saw that, yes, Ukrainian armed forces resist, and and the whole nation was united and showed this, willingness to
Andriy,
Russian
Andriy,
aggression
please,
and so on.
Andriy, please, Andriy, look at the pictures. Look at the pictures of the children in Ukraine. Andriy, please understand. I'm not anti the people of Ukraine. I'm not anti-Ukraine. But I want to show you these pictures from Donetsk. I want to show you these pictures from Donetsk, and people there say that these children are in this condition because they came under Ukrainian fire. I'm not taking sides in this, but please understand, top 5 arms contractors who control 60% of global arms sales. They are going to make a lot of money. They're a lot of money. Nobody in the West likes it when we remind them of that. Look at their stock prices, Andriy. They are making billions. They could make trillions. They are putting in an investment. Can I ask this? They're putting in an investment. For them, 50 to 100, even $100 million a day is peanuts, because they're going to make a lot more. They're going to make a lot more out of this. This is the angle nobody's looking at. I don't know why it upsets you, Peter. You know it's a reality. I want Soraya to come in. Okay, Soraya, come in and let there be an open debate on this. Sushant, coming to you. You can say it, but you can't say that what I'm saying is wrong. And on the other side, the CIA director says things will get worse for the people of Ukraine. People of Ukraine will suffer more. There's going to be terrible things for the people of Ukraine. Let's send in 30,000 more mercenaries. What? This is madness.
Can I say something?
I'd like Soraya to come in. This is completely craziness at another level. Yes, Soraya.
Destroyers. This is really sad what's happening, and it's very unfortunate to see this. What started off as a military operation obviously has escalated because we have people who were feeding onto this, and it's really sad because the people that are going to be missing out on this are the civilians at the end of the day.
They have these freedom fighters, whoever they are, that they're collecting from all around. That's going to be the same situation that they did when they brought into Syria, what they did to Iraq, what they did to Afghanistan. We cannot allow Ukraine to be this same situation that they were. This is going to be an endless war that can drag us on for years, if not into a World War III, God forbid. What we have to do right now is allow them to negotiate, allow them to be some sort of peace accord, and that way they can have a neutral Ukraine. That's what's needed right now. Okay, all these people are taking advantage of the situation. Like you said, this is a moneymaker for them. This is an arms race. They're funding people on all sides of the situation. This is going to lead to human trafficking. This is a business for people like the Clintons, the Soros, and the Rothschilds, and this needs to stop. What they're doing, they were supposed to be just taking out all these military bases that they found, those biological weapons that you guys have had hidden there.
You are ridiculous.
That were
You are
placed in there.
ridiculous.
And what they're doing is that they're putting this right now in the civilian locations, the same way that they did in Syria, whether it's in the hospitals, in the schools, and all these locations. Nobody targets civilians on purpose. Okay, you'd have to be really evil to do something like that. So you really have to sit down and you have to coordinate with your comedian of a president and your actor, and you got to get your act together.
Did it.
Can I say something, folks? Finally, please, uninterrupted. 1 minute.
No, Peter, you can say it, but you know, my focus is on the mercenaries. You are letting it's become a playground of mercenaries, and it's a playground for rogue mercenaries, war contractors, and bloodshed seekers. Yeah, no, you can say it, but you are avoiding the question on mercenaries and war contractors. Blood money, I call it. A lot of people are making blood money in Ukraine. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, go on. Mr. Arnab, if you invited me as a speaker, I'm devoting 45 minutes of my time. I at least require 1 minute uninterrupted, without any interruptions, to let me say my piece. And this is epistemological, okay? You have invited these weird, weirdos and probably Russian agents, this Soraya lady, who is repeating from the Russian playbook ridiculous nonsense. There's nothing to debate with her about these Nazis.
The Israeli Times.
This characterization. Okay, listen, let me talk. Let me talk. I didn't interrupt you. So she's characterizing this in a way that the Russian propaganda has, and it seems like Russia is really making a push to spread its disinformation through Indian TV, because everywhere else it's been shut down on the debate. YouTube has shut it down. It's based on absolute fakery. All this genocide of people in the Donbass, the Nazi government. We have a Jew, for Christ's sake, who is president of Ukraine. This is total fakery, people, okay? You are repeating lies. You are repeating lies. Ukraine is fighting for its survival, and people of goodwill.
Peter and Rich.
You're putting a cynical spin on it. And you, Tatiana, you should know better. Sputnik is the worst kind of propaganda. You're talking about a big Russian army. You know what? It's been made fun of. Russian army is a colossus on clay legs. It has no strength. It cannot fight. It has no morale because it's fighting an unjust war. Its soldiers are deserting, unmasked. They're running for the exit. They don't want to fight for this bloody tyrant Vladimir Putin. They are fighting against their own brotherly nation of Ukraine. They claim to be brothers, and they're trying to kill them. This is an eternal shame. Russia is the Third Reich. Russia is the Third Reich.
Okay, listen. Now, Peter.
And the battle for free war.
Peter. One second. You're over a minute there, Peter. I want to say something before Tatiana responds. No, Peter. Now listen to me, Peter. Listen to me, Peter. Since I heard you say things, and you said some nasty things about me, you can say what you want, but I'll not raise my voice. I will just tell you a few things because you made it personal on me. So I'll respond to you with a fact. You can go bellicose on me as much as you want. You can get upset, no problem. But I'll tell you one thing. You tell me today. Tell me right here, Peter Zalmayev, and tell me, Colonel Richardson. Tell me, is it true or not that the US-based Blackwater, which is a private military company, laid out a $10 billion plan to make weapons and create a private army in Ukraine? And this report, by the way, is reported in the American media July 2021. So what if I turn around and I say, this was part of the plan? You have nothing to say.
Can I answer that, Arnab?
You get upset when I say Americans will make money.
I have something to say about that.
You get upset. There's a lot of money being made in the war, and I really feel for the people of Ukraine. They're suffering. What Russia is doing is bad. Bombing of residential areas, intolerable. But what you're doing, pumping in, tens of thousands of mercenaries, is not justifiable either. Now, I've responded. Tatiana wants to say something back. It's a free debate. And by the way, don't tell me about Western media, because Western media has misled the world for decades. We're going to correct it, okay? Now let Tatiana respond. Thank you. Tatiana.
Let's start with the favorite debate of the Ukrainian side. It's weird for me that well, not surprising that Peter would bring it up, you know, the fact that the country is being run by a Jew. Well, you know, Jews have done very different things throughout history. I'm sure you don't need reminding of the fact that there is such a phenomenon as anti-Semitic Jews. And being a Jew does not kind of, you know, grant you absolution for doing terrible things. Now, if we talk about the fact that this war, and you are proving your point that you are just what you said, because you're literally swearing on air, disrespecting Indian viewers, disrespecting...
You're ridiculous, because you're
television.
ridiculous. You are fucking ridiculous.
Are you done? Or are we starting another minute?
I mean, you should be ashamed of yourself. You know that you lie. You know that you lie, and you lie. How much do they pay you to lie like this?
They don't pay me anything. It's a public holiday. I'm here on my
with a perfect Oxford English, and you're just like a monkey opening your mouth, and you know you're lying. The whole system of Russia is based on lies.
Oh, come on,
and
don't
deception.
get personal. My only issue, no, don't get personal. Don't use the F word. I'm saying here, please, my focus is on mercenaries. I'm saying keep the mercenaries out of it. Because I want to bring Sushant Sareen in. Please, this is getting very hot, this debate. Sushant, my point is, this is now becoming it's going to become a very long-drawn professional war.
Arnab, how can you keep the mercenaries
out? How can you keep the mercenaries out?
So,
why?
If they're inviting them
No,
in.
why? No, 1 second. Let Sushant come in and then I'll come back to you, Tatyana. Thank you. Sushant and Joachim, yeah.
Okay, so what I'm going to say might sound a little cynical, but I think at least that's the reality according to me. Number one, war is an opportunity. People make money out of it. So don't crib if somebody is making money out of it, whether contractors or whoever else. The contractors did start the war. Somebody else started the war. I'm not getting into the reasons and all of that. That's besides the point, because we are talking about something entirely different. That's point number one. Point number two, Arnab, Happy New Year. Because the fact of the matter is that how wars are fought nowadays has changed. There are standing professional armies, and there are private contractors and mercenaries which are also deployed. We've seen that in Afghanistan. We've seen that in Iraq. We've seen that all over the world. That happens. That's a new reality. And there are reasons for that. There are economic reasons. You don't have to pay their pensions. You don't have to pay their salaries. They are off the books. They can carry out certain operations which they don't have to explain to anybody. So that is another reality. You have to learn to live with it. The third reality is that don't compare it to what happened in Afghanistan. Because the guys, at least in Afghanistan 1.0 against the Soviet Union, they didn't come to fight the Soviet Union. They came to fight a jihad. Okay, they were ideologically driven. They were actually collected, and that part is right. They were collected from around the Muslim world, from Morocco to the Philippines. These guys were collected. They were brought into Afghanistan. They were cannon fodder, but they thought they were fighting for a higher cause. I don't think something similar is likely to happen in Ukraine. I think some of these guys, for example, there were a couple of Indians who are trying to sign up. These are guys, who played a little too much of PUBG. These are guys who are looking for some excitement. Some of these guys might actually be driven by this thing that maybe some injustice is happening and they want to go and fight it. But there are other people who are going out there, partly as somebody who was earlier saying, that there were some, Ukrainians from outside who want to come and fight. The Chechens, and I think the Russian out here was right. The Chechens are very much Russians. They might not be ethnic Russians, but they are part and parcel of the Russian reality. So to call them mercenaries is wrong, number one. Number two, that's not a private army. But that's besides the point. So I think those are the realities. I don't know the figures which you are quoting. I haven't seen that kind of numbers, but I'm sure there will be a beeline which will be made for this place. There will be adventure seekers. There will be guys who are wanting to fight for freedom. It was something which happened in Spain in the 1930s. It has happened in theater after theater after theater. So nothing new in that, and that's the ugly reality of war. And that's the ugly truth of war.
Only I'm aware. I am completely aware, but Sushant, I am also aware of the dangers. what is happening is to the world out there, right? To the world. People like Colonel Rich outside come and say, you know, this is about liberty, freedom, shared values, rule of law, etc., etc. It's not. It's complete and absolute rubbish.
One second.
These Blackwater contractors. No, one second. Sushant, give me a minute. Let me complete this.
One second. Just one.
No, can I get half a second and then I'll come to you?
Listen, I am not interested.
Okay, go on.
I'm not interested in the taglines which people are giving about freedom and liberty and all of that. Those are taglines. Those are lines which people say to justify what, you know, whichever side they are on. Those lines don't interest me, number one. Number two, I will not fall for either the Russian propaganda or the Ukrainian propaganda. For example, every day the Ukrainians add another 1,000 Russians to the list of dead. It's almost as if, you know, it's a kind of a standard thing that tomorrow it'll be 13,000, day after it'll be 14,000 Russians. So, and nobody tells, 1 second, just listen. Number three, I don't buy anything which I read also in the Western media, because I know the kind of fake reportage which happens about my country. So I don't buy everything which the Western media writes. And I think there is enough ways that we can find out what the truth is without actually taking anything which comes from the West at face value or comes from Russia at face value.
No, one second. Yes, Sushant. Yeah, Sushant, we see through it, okay? I don't believe the Western media either. I think they're completely sold out. But what I'm saying is there is enough primary information on the basis of which I say that America should stop kidding the world that this is a fight about tyranny. In reality, it is oiling the cogs and the gears. The war machinery of America needs to keep going. Colonel Outside will outrage about it. There's a war machinery. It needs to keep going. Raytheon Technologies shares up 8%, General Dynamics 12%, Lockheed Martin 18%, Northrop Grumman 22%. And I'm just telling you that this is in recent days. So this is billions and billions and hundreds of billions of dollars in stock value that is added. This is return on return on investment. If Russia has given, my question is, Russia has given, and Russia's mistake is given an opportunity for the entire American war machinery to jump right in. That's a fact, Anya. Russia has given a wonderful opportunity for the American war machinery and war economy to jump right in. Don't you think so?
Russia also gave the United States multiple opportunities to engage. Russia gave the United States since 2014 the opportunity to implement the Minsk agreements or even return to the table earlier this year. And all they had to do, all the United States had to do was make a promise not to put Ukraine into NATO, to agree to a neutral Ukraine.
And Ukrainian people
after 8 years of
Colonel
war,
Outside countering.
of the people of the Donbass Republic suffering.
We cannot dismiss this, as several of your speakers have, as a U.S. Russia issue. The Ukrainians are a people. The Ukrainians have their own nation.
Yes.
Ukrainians get a vote. The Ukrainians
but the Ukrainians are not in control anymore.
They did not want to live under the thumb
Ukrainian
of
people
Russia.
Have not been
Here we have a situation where Russia has
installed a puppet government. Okay, everybody knows that. Everybody knows that.
Fire out, and you're blaming bystanders who come to help. This is serving.
I'm blaming the U.S. government for installing a coup government and starting a war in the east of Ukraine. No serious analyst can deny the fact that Ukraine has been under a puppet government since 2014. U.S. officials speak about it openly. U.S. officials were there encouraging the so-called
Peter.
No.
Are we seriously questioning the fact? Are you questioning the fact that, Peter, are you questioning the fact that the US has been sending in billions in military aid, and the latest shipment before the conflict broke out was 91 tons of lethal aid to Kiev, aimed at literally slaughtering people in Donbass region? Are you literally denying what was stated by the Pentagon?
Let's compare the amount of Russian equipment in Ukraine to the amount of American equipment in Ukraine.
Do you know the amount of Russian equipment in Ukraine? Do you? Because nobody has that number.
Tatiana, let me just say something. Tatiana, folks, I am a Russian-speaking Ukrainian.
Peter Zalman.
Don't let
Peter's coming in. Peter,
I have the moral authority here. I have the moral authority as a native
I'm
of
listening,
Donetsk.
Peter.
I I am a Russian speaker from Donetsk. So when you talk about discrimination against Russian speakers, folks, you're being fed or you are feeding actively Russian propaganda. None of it happened. It's a completely concocted story. It's a fake story based on absolutely nothing that was used as an excuse for Putin to realize his ambition to restore the Soviet Union. For him, the Soviet Union is nothing without Ukraine. It's a war of subjugation, of occupation, nothing else. He does not care about NATO. He does not think Ukraine is a threat. It's an excuse. It's a thin disguise. It's the way Hitler acted towards Poland when it staged this live radio station a provocation and then claimed that it was a defensive war by invading Poland. The parallels between Vladimir Putin 2022 and Adolf Hitler 1938 are uncanny, and there's so many. It's unbelievable, folks. It's unbelievable.
Except the Nazi, the Sieg-heiling Nazis who look up to the individuals who perpetrated the Holocaust in Ukraine are on the side of the Ukrainian military. They are fighting on the side of the Ukrainian military, in the Ukrainian military. Zelensky, just at the beginning of this year, the president of Ukraine, honored a Nazi fighter with a presidential honor, actually gave someone who says that he has a dog who eats the bones of Russian soldiers a presidential honor in Kiev. And you want to tell me that the Nazis are, the parallels between Nazis are with
I think that throwing around the word Nazi solves the problem of the fact that the fascist government involved here is Russia's.
Soraya. Peter, how old were you when you left Donetsk?
I was 20 years old.
That's not true. You did your master's in Colombia. Did you do it in Donetsk?
No, I said I was 20 when I left Donetsk. I was 20 years old.
Oh. And
I was 32 when I did my master's. I was 32 when I did my master's.
What year was that when you were 20?
No, I left in 1994.
So what do you know about Ukraine post-Soviet Union?
90.
Folks, I had my family lived in Donetsk up until Vladimir Putin came in 2014. I was there every year. I was visiting my folks. We had 3 apartments there. We lost everything. They had to leave. They had to leave from the real Nazis, okay? The invading Nazis. Okay, we throw around this term very easily, but you know what? The country that really needs denazification is Russia, it's not Ukraine.
I just want to say, Rich, you know, the way the war is going, I'm only saying this. I'll give Soraya a word. My worry is, Soraya, that if the introduction of tens of thousands of mercenaries will prolong this battle, will prolong it, will complicate it. That's my only concern. Biden is speaking, I'm told. I need to cut across live. Seems to be a bit of breaking news coming in. Let's go live, viewers.
People will deal another powerful blow to Putin's war machine. This is a move that has strong bipartisan support in the Congress and, I believe, in the country. Americans have rallied to support the Ukrainian people and made it clear we will not be part of subsidizing Putin's war. We made this decision in close consultation with our allies and our partners around the world, particularly in Europe, because a united response to Putin's aggression has been my overriding focus, to keep all NATO and all of the EU and our allies totally united. We're moving forward with this ban, understanding that many of our European allies and partners may not be in a position to join us. The United States produces far more oil domestically than all the European countries combined. In fact, we're a net exporter of energy. So we can take this step when others cannot. But we're working closely with Europe and our partners to develop a long-term strategy to reduce their dependence on Russian energy as well. Our teams are actively discussing how to make this happen, and today we remain united. We remain united in our purpose to keep pressure mounting on Putin and his war machine. This is a step that we're taking to inflict further pain on Putin. But there will be cost as well here in the United States. I said I would level with the American people from the beginning. And when I first spoke to this, I said defending freedom is going to cost. It's going to cost us as well in the United States. Republicans and Democrats understand that. Republicans and Democrats alike have been clear that we must do this